Hi guys, let me get out of my jacket. I'm a little overdressed and warm, and obviously over age, as I heard several times from Philip. No one in this industry is more than 20 or 40 years old, so I'm the senior citizen here, and loving it. And I got asked to have a little word about the time where none of you was born, obviously my youth, and here we go. So I have 3 lives. In my age you must have at least 3 lives, otherwise you don't qualify to keep on living. So my first life was obviously in school, where I had political disagreements quite a lot in the late 60s, early 70s. So that was kind of my first and till today final brush with politics. At that early age, kind of gave up trying to convince people with right arguments, to convince them of the truth when you fight ideological convincing somebody. Doesn't matter what arguments you have. So that frustration brought me to the famous boarding school Salem, where I was, of course, politically not as isolated as in Frankfurt, as you can imagine. 80% of the students there were more or less of my political direction, and therefore politics became for me extremely uninteresting and boring. Because I like being a double Taurus, I like action, my sun and my star sign is Taurus, so for me, as more enemy, as better it is. And there started my second career that lasted passionately nearly a lifetime, and that is trading, what my father taught me more or less with the mother milk, trading and speculating in markets. I was very fortunate of having dreams that actually happened. So it sounds probably pretty stupid to all of you, but it really is possible that you dream things that happen in the future. And I kind of made a fortune out of it, and therefore gave up my academic career pretty early in Frankfurt, realizing that the professors that were teaching me all kind of clever stuff made in a year less than I would make on a good afternoon. And that taken to heart that I was 18 years old, I kind of felt isolated in Germany, and therefore looked west at the time, the country of hope, America, the country of unlimited opportunities. Took me, and I moved to America. I was in Boston as a trainee on the stock exchange. From there I went to Wall Street, and with my big ego and the millions I've actually made in Salem, using the payphone as my office, because that was obviously before you all lived, but also before mobile phones. So the only phone in that beautiful environment that kind of reminds me, by the way, to your beautiful campus. It's amazing. Same kind of structure and beautiful old castle monastery, and the only way of communicating with the outside world was one payphone. And so I was always trying to rush out of class to be the first in line for the payphone, but normally I ended up always behind a crying girl that was complaining about something to her mom, and I had to pull her out. Before she came back with the teacher complaining, I gave Mary Lynch my orders and was done with the trade, so I could sneak back in out of limelight. So as I said, that was my second step, and I came to Wall Street, pretty sure that they are going to continue what I started pretty successfully, meeting people through my father's network that I trusted, because they were very famous legends at that time. And I followed their advice, and guess what? In 6 weeks I lost every penny I had. Boom, it was gone. That's what happens if you don't follow your instincts and you listen to what other people that look and sound smarter have to say or to offer. So to get back on my feet, I literally had to give up my apartment, took the deposit, sold my car, took all this money, and actually had a nice apartment on the east side in New York, moved to a little hotel on the east side, on 58th Street, I never forget that. I just was there and actually showed it. It's renovated now, it looks different, but it was a $5 a night hotel. And to turn the light on, you literally had to turn in the light bulb. And the little brownish looking bed turned yellowish when the light hit, because the cargo watches disappeared off the bed. And as I said, I took my money from the deposit of the apartment and the Ford Mustang, a white Ford. I cried when I had to sell it. But I took that money and I followed my own instincts, buying AT&T options that were close to expiration. And make a long story short, within 6 weeks I moved out of this shithole into the presidential suite in the Pier Hotel. So, you know, obviously when you have money and you turn up the speed of your life, you want to move up in life and get a nicer apartment, a bigger house and this and that. And obviously I didn't want to waste too much time of doing it myself, so I was shopping for apartments in New York. And when you have big funds, you end up always, especially today, in one of the Trump Towers. At the time it was the only Trump Tower. And I was in the penthouse with my new wife, Catherine. And we were complaining about the too small closets, too small bathrooms, and the literally not existing kitchen in a $10 million apartment. We're talking early 90s. So that would be today a $100 million apartment. Kitchen was so little that you literally, when you had shopping bags, you could go only sideways in the kitchen. There was no window. There was only on the left side the bathroom, and on the right side was the elevator shaft. So I completely freaked out. And the poor salesperson, I remembered like yesterday, started shaking, had all sweaty hands, and called the master of the universe. So the Donald himself appeared. I'll never forget this. He walked in screaming, "Who dares to criticize the greatest apartment of the universe?" And I said, "I do. It's a shithole." So I explained to him what I don't like. He explained me that people that are rich in New York don't cook, they go out for dinner. I said, but I need to cool my nerves to cook because it's my biggest passion. So we agreed to disagree, we became best friends, and in a couple of deals even partners. And being a double Taurus, I was provoked to prove him that I can actually build apartments with big kitchens, big closets and big bathrooms and sell them successfully. I did that 3,500 times in the next 10 years. So that was my push into real estate, driven by necessity. So that was life number 2. I was ready to overdose, just leave on top. And obviously, as a third career came to an end, I lost all my friends because they literally were dead or had strokes and they didn't look so good anymore. I decided, through a stroke of destiny, when my daughter decided to move after Eclan, studying in Boston at Emerson. One day I'm traveling, I get a phone call from my daughter Joya, and she says, "Papi, I moved." I said, "Great, where are you now?" "I'm in Miami. I moved in your house." Oops, but that was a wake-up call. And it was actually the last call I took drunk. And since over 3 years, I completely cleaned up my life. And I'm now ready for my 4th life, and that's why I'm here. Because I think the future, the developers of the 20th century that were proud of building towers, like the Trumps and the Kramers and the other guys, that are the developers of the 21st century are you. The Zuckerbergs, the people that do software, apps and social media. Something that I now use but dislike. And that's what gets me involved. Because I have a very simple taste, I only like the best. And there I am, suddenly developing apps, software, and social media tools. And therefore, having America as a base is great, especially Miami, to party and have a great social life. But doing entrepreneurial work is nearly impossible. I cannot even tell you. I think more than what is in this room in head count, I had people transferred from Silicon Valley, Chicago, New York, with unbelievable bonuses, move bonuses to Miami, incentives to have them in my startup companies, and I lost them all to the party program within months. I'm very much looking forward to start a new life a new company, a new future for me and my family, obviously, in the East with your help. And I'm looking very much forward to, as my brother Philip did so eloquently, and I can only second him, of course with less experience, but man, I got a lot of seats out there too. Good, I hope that's...
You're welcome now. Let's see what you guys learned to party.